Welcome everybody to video 4 of Be an Innovator. Amp up your awesome admin superpowers by delivering innovation with Einstein Prediction Builder and Discovery. If you're joining us new, we are going step by step to build an AI-powered app from start to finish. So watch these videos and then share your progress online on Twitter using hashtag Be an Innovator. All right, so in video 3, we talked about how to leverage AI to build solutions for our company. For video 4, I'm excited to get hands-on and build a prediction. So let's see and watch Leanne Reimel and Ayori Selassie demo Einstein Prediction Builder and talk us through best practices that we can incorporate when we're building predictions. Let's hear from them.
Thanks, Rebecca. Thanks for joining us again so we can get hands-on today and start building our predictive model. I'm very excited.
Let's build this prediction.
Right? We're ready to build a prediction, right? Because we've spent time going through our use case with our Einstein use case worksheet that Ayori shared with us. We went through our requirements, discussing what personas we're designing for, what we want those personas to do, and also how those personas are going to be accessing this prediction. And last time we met, we heard from VP of Einstein, Marco, about how to think about what products we're using as we're building solutions. So as admins, we've got our toolkit of products and toolkit of skills and of features that we're using to build solutions for our orgs. And now we can think about how to add Einstein to that, how to add prediction to that, because now I know the difference between a rules engine and an intelligence engine and how those are different and have different implications. So I feel like we're ready to build our prediction.
Yes, let's build our attrition risk prediction.
Let's get hands-on. So we are in our Cloudy's Candies environment. Make sure you're doing this in your Cloudy's Candies environment. If you don't have one yet, pause this video, go sign up for one right now with the link included on this page, because we need to do this in the right environment so we have access to Prediction Builder, because Prediction Builder is available right now just to those customers that have purchased Einstein with their AEs and to those of us working with Cloudy's Candies. So make sure you're in the right environment, and in your Cloudy's Candies org, go ahead and go to Setup and go to the tile for Einstein Prediction Builder. So we're in Prediction Builder and Setup, and we're gonna just jump right in and start building our new prediction. We're gonna call this prediction attrition risk. That's because that's what we wanna predict for here. We wanna predict the likelihood of attrition for our customers. And when we click next, we have some options for what to select.
Yes, so now Einstein is guiding us through the steps to create our prediction. And the first thing is, what object would you like to build your prediction on? And this could be a custom object, or it could be a standard object. And in this case, contact is the perfect one to build our prediction on.
This is really exciting to me. For Cloudy's Candies, we are building it for contact and for attrition rate, but as admins, we can start building these prediction models for other standard objects like cases or leads, and also those custom objects that I love to build as we build custom apps for our organizations. So what are we selecting here, Ayori?
So on this screen is allowing you to create segments for your data sets. And that basically means if you want to build a prediction for something, and maybe you know that your East Coast customers are very different from your West Coast customers, or Japan is very different from EMEA, you can actually create separate segments of models for each of those things. And this is how you would define that segment. But in this case, we don't have any segmentation to worry about. We're just going to create one model with all the data.
Great. And so we've selected, now we have to select the field that we're going to predict. So if you don't see the attrited field at the top, make sure to go back and watch the end of video 3 and build that formula field that returns a checkbox, because that is the field we're going to be predicting for. We're predicting for the yes or no, has this customer attrited? And that's what's going to help us build that data set.
But you could also build predictions on other types of objects as well. We reviewed last time with Marco that you could build a prediction on a number field, on a checkbox field, or on a formula field. But we've got the right one here with attrited, so let's go ahead. All right, and now Einstein is also going to ask us what examples do we want to use for our model. And this is actually really important because you want to think about if you want to predict attrition, well, you want to really look at a certain type of customer to represent the model of which customers you want to ensure that you keep. And in this case, we've set up a filter to look for customers who have a tenure of 12 months or more.
So we've selected what segment of customers we want, segment of data we want to use to build this prediction model. But we also want to select what data on those customer records we're incorporating into our model. So here we have all of the fields on the customer object or the contact object are selected by default, but we're going to actually go ahead and deselect some of those so we can fine tune the data being used for our model. So I'm going to deselect all of our lookup fields because those are not, I don't want to include account name because I'm not using that in my org, so it's not a reliable indicator. So I'm going to deselect some of these system fields like created by and last modified by.
And there are other things that you would want to exclude from your models as well. There are actually 3 different types of things that you should be looking for. The first one that you want to look for is anything sensitive, any kind of sensitive data. So stuff like personally identifiable information that you don't want to send into your models, like social security numbers or things like that. The second thing you want to look for would be stale data, any kind of old legacy fields that are not relevant anymore. You don't want to put that in your model because it's just bad data. And then the third thing that you want to avoid putting in your model are something that we call leakers. And this is actually a new term, so don't worry if you've never heard it before. But basically, when we created our formula field for our attrited formula, we were looking at a field called attrited date. And if we were to add attrited date to our fields, to our data, to our model, then that would show up as a highly correlated field for the predictions. But of course, if the attrited date is set, we already know the customer is attrited. So that's what we call a leaker. So we exclude that as well.
Perfect. So I've deselected attrition date. I've deselected all of those lookup fields that are not relevant for this data set. And I'm also going to deselect a couple of older fields, that legacy data that you mentioned. We're not using assistant and assistant phone in our org, so I'm going to deselect those as well. So I can see at the top I've selected 43 out of 51 fields. That's the field data that's going to be used to build my model. Now I named the place to store this data. So we're really working with 2 fields. We've created 2 fields in this environment because we've got our formula field that we created originally in order to have something yes or no to predict for. And now we're going to create a field in which to store this prediction data. So we're going to be doing a lot of exciting stuff next time with this field.
And this is really cool because this is a custom field just like any other field inside of Salesforce, but it's also a little different because it's an AI prediction field. And if you look in setup at the field, it'll actually say AI prediction field. And that basically means that Salesforce isn't going to trigger any updates or notifications and things when these predictions get updated, because they get updated all the time on a schedule, and you don't want notifications being fired randomly. So that's why we've created that field in a very special way.
So special behavior, it's invisible for certain automation, but it's also going to be available, as we'll see next time, for a lot of the ways that we roll out information to our users.
Yes, there's a way to turn those notifications on, which is what you want to do.
So we go ahead and we've created our prediction, and I can see, or we've selected all the options for our prediction, and now we get our final screen that's giving us the overview of what we've done. We can always select back if we messed up on any of these screens or want to make changes, but we have the name of our prediction, we have the object, contact, the field that we're predicting for, which is that formula field, attrited, the fields that we're using, so we are exempting 8 fields, we're excluding 8 fields from this model, we're using 43. The field that we want to save it to, and that we have a filter. So that looks really good to me. I feel like with Iori's help, I've built the right prediction for Cloudy's Candies.
So let's click Build Prediction.
Now, absolutely, so now we're going to go ahead and build it. Now we do get our success screen. It takes about 24 hours, as you said, to build the prediction. But we've built one already because we were really excited. We wanted to show you the scorecard and what it looked like at the end. So when your prediction is completed, it should be about 24 hours, maybe faster, but around that time, make sure to check back in this environment. But you will see that the status is changed to ready for review instead of pending. And when the status is ready for review, you can go ahead and click on View Scorecard and see how your prediction looks.
Yeah, so let's talk about the scorecard. So once your prediction has been built, Einstein is going to show you a scorecard, which is going to tell you what does your prediction quality look like. So for example, here we see our prediction quality is rated at 80, and we can see that a great prediction model is anywhere between 78 to 95 in the score. If it's higher than 95, you would actually go into the red zone. That would mean that your model is way too good to be true. So that's very helpful as well. So Einstein is giving us guidance there. And then Einstein also lets us know what are the top predictive fields that we've identified in the model. So like basically what are the fields that are highly correlated to your customer attriting. And we can see all that information, and we can go into details as well. And this is also really cool because we can see all of the different fields that Einstein has identified, along with the weight and whether it's positive, negative, and the score for correlation.
Yeah, so this to me is such a useful place because I can see that, for example, there's a high positive correlation between attrited customers and their method of payment, and also the type of contract that they have. So I can start to look at what is that information, what are those customer segments that maybe we need some additional customer success resources or to ensure that we're spending the right time there.
This is very insightful data. And another thing that's good to call out here is, remember we talked about leakers? If you see some fields that are really highly correlated, this is where you can actually take another second and think about it and say, well, when does this field get updated? And you can identify some things that you might potentially want to remove from your model by using this to review your model success.
So if we had included attrition date, for example, that would likely have a very high correlation, and that would be weighted really heavily, and it might be skewing our model. So this is where we can see specifically what fields are weighted how, and also make further changes and maybe exempt some fields and fine-tune our model.
It's a good spot check.
Awesome. Well, I'm so excited about our prediction. I'm excited to roll it out to our users, which is what we'll be doing next time. So go ahead and build your predictions in your Cloudies Candies environments and share those predictions with us. We're so excited to see what you build and have fun looking at the scorecard, clicking around, better understanding that prediction. And we will see you next time. Back to you, Rebecca.
Wow, thank you, Leanne and Ayori, for that great demo. You really make building predictions look so fun and easy. To summarize, my key takeaways were: 1, when you build a prediction, you actually need to make sure that you exclude certain types of fields. And those can be or include sensitive data, like personal identification numbers or social security numbers, stale data, so any fields that are no longer being updated or maintained within your org, and leakers, fancy new word for me for sure. This is any kind of field that is inherently correlated with the field that we're predicting for. Another key takeaway was that Einstein is actually creating a special field for this prediction when we go through the wizard, and that's an AI prediction field. And this essentially means that it's invisible for certain types of automation. And lastly, I thought it was important to note that a prediction score between 78 and 95 is really great, and you actually don't want to go above 95 because then it's too good to be true. All right, so now it's your turn. Log into your Cloudies Candies org and pull up Einstein Prediction Builder to start building your prediction. Be sure to share your progress by taking a screenshot of your success screen and tweeting it using hashtag #BeAnInnovator for a chance to win. Restrictions apply, so see rules for details. And we do have some extra resources for you today. So if you want to dig deeper, Ayori has written a great blog post about these types of fields that we should exclude from our model. And we also have the Prediction Builder Trailhead badge, which you can take for another opportunity to get hands-on with this cool tool. All right, so join us for video 5 of Be an Innovator to learn how to surface your prediction and make it super useful for your users. See you next time.